I am excited today to bring all of you into our video creators roadmap training for today. I'm excited because I've got my buddy Styves Exantus ready to drop some super cool knowledge bombs on all of us. Styves is a friend. He's a photographer, a videographer, an actor. He is a fitness guru, and he's got it all going on. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into this. What we're going to be covering today is the 60-second sermon. Stives is calling it Your Story in a Minute or Less. And what's interesting about that is that using these same techniques that we're going to cover today, you can use what we teach to create a 30-second video, a 1-minute video, a 2-minute video, a 30-minute video. Stives and I are also going to be showing some examples of work that he's done. Stives is a United States Marine Corps veteran who fell in love with the creativity around visual graphics, something that I know Baird can relate to, and photography as well. And that has led him into a full-time videography career. So I'm going to stop the share here and ask Stives to fill us in a little bit more on his background and story and how he got started on all of this.
Thank you. And how are you doing, Diane? Thank you so much for joining us. Just want to make sure I say hi to everyone here. So yeah, so like Chuck said, really my love for creativity just started as a kid. I've always just liked being creative. I wasn't the best drawer. And also, fun fact, I'm colorblind. So I found all the different cheat codes for working with clients and matching colors and matching logo colors and things. But pretty much, just I was doing marketing events, then got into acting, and then acting after getting into fitness led me into doing stunts. And then I got on American Ninja Warrior. And so after getting on TV for a little bit, that was a lot of fun. My very first TV show I ever got on, first time being on TV, was on America's Most Wanted. So that was a really fun experience being on there. But even still, I was still very intrigued as to, all the audio equipment and video equipment and how they put it together. So from there, around 2000, let's say 10-ish, cell phones, video and picture capabilities became a lot more significant. And what happened with that is I had a good group of friends I'd work out with. And I was like, we can make some cool videos that we seen on Instagram. And at the time it was Vine. I know, showing my age here. So just playing around in the gym, just setting up the camera, doing different angles, little tricks. And it just became fun. And one of my friends who I'd work out with said, hey, I have a clothing brand I'm trying to launch. Can you do an ad? And I was like, I'm shooting on my cell phone. He's like, yeah, but you know how to put a video, you know how to put logos on there. That's kind of what I need. So working with him, did quite a few videos, probably like 4 to 5, and all on my cell phone. And then and handheld at that. And then that just gave me a little bit more courage. And then at the time I was working for Logitech, and I actually handheld a whole 4-day company trip and put it into a 5-minute video. And I shared the video, and they really liked it. And I told them, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a gimbal, and the next one's gonna be really awesome. And they said, well, when you get it, we're gonna reimburse you. So that moment, like I was telling Chuck, was like my Avengers moment. And when they reimbursed me my gimbal, when it came in, it really felt like Thor put his hand out, and then the hammer just like came right to it. I was like, and I could feel that, oh, okay, I should take this a little bit more serious, and for those, if you don't know what a gimbal is, it's a stabilizer for any kind of video device. So it just allows you to move slowly, allows you to get angles, like maybe hanging over a balcony and things like that, climbing up steps, makes it really smooth and clean, really adds a nice professional cinematic dynamic to your video. So after getting that, I started doing events, and mind you, this is all on my cell phone. So for about 18 to about 20-ish months, I'm hardcore staying up, working on YouTube, learning, and just getting out there and getting after it. Every opportunity that I could, I was shooting. My daughter was a cheerleader, and I shot her cheer competitions on my cell phone and made whole videos and did whole compilations. And, and I was still getting paid, not as much, but I had a full time. And then, just constantly working and shooting videos on my cell phone. And as you all know, remember in March of 2020, it was a nice little rug yanked up under me of COVID, of having a job. So then my wife kind of lit a nice match underneath my seat and said, hey, let's really invest and get a real camera. And I was kind of like, oh no, that's a lot of money. I didn't go to school for this. And she's like, if you're shooting here, you can shoot there, you know? So I'll say, okay. And I invested, you know? And after that, I felt like, you know, I was head in, and I just, you know, stuck with it. And every day putting in 3, 5, and sometimes 6 hours, from 8 to 9 p.m. to about 2 to 3 in the morning, studying. Next day, wake up, go apply some things I learned, and then, you know, reached out to some friends and started shooting more. So now, let me see, I'm about 2 years in, a little bit over 2 years with a professional camera. And my wife probably knows how much more I spend on the gear. You know, as you know, it's not cheap, and I'm fully invested, and I love every creative moment about it.
That's really cool. One of the things I want to touch on that you mentioned here, Styves, is studying and then applying. And I am trying to learn how to play bass. And one of the videos that I've watched on YouTube is about the fact that there's a guy that comes on and he says, I can tell you right now if you're going to succeed as a bass player. And you're like, okay, well, tell me this. So that's kind of getting into what we're going to be talking about today. It's, you know, getting your attention. Well, it got my attention, and it was very quick. I was very quick to find out what it was that he was selling. What he was saying was practice. You have got to practice. Your word was apply what you learn. And this is, you know, I'm talking to myself here too, because I don't think I practice as much as I'd really like to. So, but yeah, that's a really key feature to actually building your skills to a point where you can be quasi-professional or fully professional with any gear that you're using.
Yeah, I have my own acronym. It's just AAA. So you just ask. Asking is learning. You can ask YouTube. You can ask another professional like Chuck, or, you know, anyone. You can ask me, hey, how do I do this? And then you want to apply. You know, it's much better to mess up in a practice game than a playoffs, right? So yeah. Whenever you're trying something new, like try it on yourself, try it with your kids, try it with your pets, try it at a, you know, family get together, and then see how that works. And then the third A would be action, would be activate. And that's when you do it for real, right? So, you know, I never really look at anything new that I'm doing as like, oh my gosh, will this work? No, the first thing I do when I find something new, I call someone who I know will let me do it for free. Because if everything goes to sugar, honey, iced tea, there's no loss, right? Yeah. But if someone is paying me $3,000 to shoot their wedding, I promise you, I'm not doing any new tricks that I don't know for sure are gonna hit, right? Like prime example, I'm pretty sure we have all seen it, the smoke bomb photography. Like, you know, when they have the colored smoke bombs, like red, green, blue, and all that. So I've done a few of those. We're not gonna show my first ones, right? But those first ones, because I wasn't sure, I didn't know how long and which direction, how much time I had, and we really botched them. But thank God I was with a friend who just, you know, they were like, oh, I'll buy some too. And then we just went out there and we practiced. We went through about 10 smoke bombs. And I'm be honest with you, we got like 3 good pictures. Wow. Right. That's but cool. Now, if someone were to ask me and we do smoke bombs, I can guarantee we're going to get 50 to 60 high quality pictures that you can choose from that are all in focus, sharp, clean, and they resonate with what we were trying to get. Yeah. So emphasizing one more thing that you said is get more than you think you're going to need. I'm getting ready to put a tip into the Video Creators Roadmap about shooting B-roll, because, you know, we've got folks on here who will be watching later who are with fire departments. Veronica, who's on here, is with a soil and water conservation district. And if you are just out, you know, doing your job, pull your phone out, hold it horizontally and shoot some B-roll. Anne Marie, same thing for you at Chamber of Commerce events. Just, you know, getting crowd shots and some of that stuff that you can edit in later to bring more life to your videos is really important. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here and get back into our slides. So attention grabber. We all know what attention grabbers are. Some can be a little bit more vibrant. Some can be more heartfelt and pull on the heartstrings and in different ways. So in all reality, right, we all have had pizza at some point. But do you remember when you were like younger and you'd be at a function, right? Whether it's a camp, school, and we are playing, and then you're waiting and you smell the pizza and everyone's like, oh, the pizza's here. And you're ready to go grab it before you even know what toppings, before you even know where it came from, whether it's a local or whether it's, Little Caesars. Little Caesars is one of my favorite corporate ones. So I'm just throwing that one out there. But we're all ready to grab that pizza before we even open the box. It could have grass as a topping. It could have anchovies. We don't know, but we smell pizza and we're ready to go. So attention grabber has got to be that. It has to be something that you are pulling in your target demographic. In this day and age, realistically, you have 5 seconds. Realistically. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go hire someone to do fireworks for your first 5 seconds or else people won't watch your video. It's just you have to be able to be purposeful in what you're putting in your first 5 seconds. Now, depending on where your content is landing, you're going to have a little bit more time, i.e. if you're making a recap video and you're showing it to your peers and you're sharing it, let's say via email, like, hey guys, we had so much fun at the company function. Here, check out the video. More than likely, they're going to watch most of it. But if the first 10 seconds don't really grab them, they're going to be like, oh, okay. All right. And then they're going to kind of doze off. And then they might tell you one thing that happened in the first 30 seconds. And then you can be like, oh, okay, so they didn't watch the whole thing. Right. Now, the third bullet is really important. The third and fourth kind of go together. So shoot for your desired target market. And as you'll see, like a lot of commercials sometimes will seem very broad, but in the grand scheme, they are looking to have a target. Whether it's a bounty commercial, we all have a house or live somewhere, so we all will have to clean up at some point, but they still will show a certain age, mom or dad. They'll still show some type of demographic, whether they're showing this, a younger millennial living on their own, different things like that, someone with pets. They're going to show kind of a target, and then they're going to switch that up all the different times. And then you're going to have some companies who are geared towards one specific, kind of like Nugenics with Frank Thomas. They are gearing towards men that are low in libido and testosterone of a certain age group. So, and then the truth of the matter is, if you shoot for everyone, you hit no one. It's just the truth. If you're like, hey, I'm selling a great service or product and I want everyone to get it, so I'm going to try to put everyone in here, you're not really going to get anyone. There are times that they will show a vast array of genders, races, and religions. But for the most part, a lot of those brands are already established. So they're just kind of adding on to what they've already done. So as you start creating, really think like, who do I want to engage with this video? And who am I making this video for? Who's going to enjoy this story? And how can I target them? So you have to think very direct, because also the big part about creating is we are going to mess up. We're human, but you don't know how to fix your mess ups if you're not purposeful. If you're just like, cool, shot a couple things, slapped together, logo on the back, and then people are like, oh, I didn't really like the video. You're going to be like, oh, I don't know why. But if you know, like, okay, I had the logo on the screen for too long, or I did it like this because I thought it looked cool, but it really wasn't. That was a bomb, right? So you really want to be purposeful in how you shoot and who you're shooting for.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Styves. And in the Video Creators Roadmap, we have a section where we talk about how to optimize your YouTube videos so that you can grab attention, move people through the video, and then finish up. And there are techniques that you do that. But one of the things that I'm going to show a couple of examples here of Styves' work where it's a lot more subtle than that. Some of the TV commercials that you see, like Styves was just saying, are really meant to kind of come through the screen and grab you and pull you in as their target market. But you can also be very subtle. And I'm going to show you an example here of a piece that Styves did I'll let him explain a little bit more on the other side what this was for, but I'm just going to show you 30 or 40 seconds. And I think you'll be able to see whether you're in the target market or not, that the person in the target market is going to be able to relate to this. So let me share my screen again.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Elaine Duran, Creative Director at Mindbolic Studios and Interior Designer at the Anonymous Restaurant and Lounge. So this is their bar, a gender-neutral area with a slight modern art twist. So we're here at the Birdcage. This is actually the speakeasy part of the Anonymous Lounge and my rendition of a man cave. So something more luxurious with a lot of deep colors, mahogany browns, wood, and leather. So now we're at her bar, the most Instagram-worthy part, I would say, of the Anonymous, with pops of colors of pastel, definitely something that's worth the wait, and some places you could actually enjoy yourself.
So what I love about that, there's so many cool techniques in there. So Styves, you want to hop in, just talk real quickly about the techniques and what it was about this woman and this bar that you felt like targeted beautifully the demographic you were reaching for, or she's reaching for.
Yeah, so her name is Aaliyah, and she's the actual interior designer for that location, and she does interior design for a lot of different locations. When she came to me, she said, "Hey, I'm doing a grand reveal of the new restaurant I'm opening in Baltimore City." So I said, "Great, what would you like?" And she's like, "I just want to show the 3 main rooms." So basically, I had her come up with her own script. And then when she came up with the script, I read it with her and we talked about certain parts of the location. I got there early enough. I actually got to that location around 4 o'clock. We walked around for about 20 minutes, looking in the kitchen, all these different things. I really did more of a pre-plan. And then around 4:30, I started shooting. By 5:30, I was done shooting. And I sat in the restaurant and we picked out a track. She airdropped me her logo right to my MacBook. And then by 6 o'clock, I was done the video and I delivered it right there on site. But it was all pre-planned. So when we looked at everything and I looked at what she was wearing, how her height, so when she would stand next to something, she doesn't look too small, doesn't look too tall. Everything was very purposeful, even the way she was leaning on the bar, where she leaned on the bar, how I angled it so you could see it made the bar look a lot longer than what it was. You know, if you were to look at that video and actually go there, you'd be like, okay, it's not small, but it looked a lot more grand in the video. So everything is done with a very purposeful. Now, if something didn't work right, I would know how to fix that. So with this storytelling and more of an opening, we wanted to show, you know, a younger, more hip, more fashion forward, because that is her target. So we started with her and I told her to wear something that she felt would represent what she's looking to do. And then we were able to do that hibachi style. So I kind of coined that myself. It's not a real thing. You can't really look it up, but I literally shot and edited there. So just like hibachi, you know, Benny Honda, they cook it right in front of you.
I just want to show a few seconds at the beginning of this. And I think here too, you'll see that this was targeted very specifically. So ideally, if this resonates with you, you're all in. If it doesn't, you're not. I mean, this absolutely is grabbing. This whole piece is only 23 seconds long, and I stopped it after 15 seconds, but it does tell a complete story. Right now, we're talking about that attention grabbing part. So Styves, anything you want to add onto this example?
Yeah, for sure. So on this one, this is a mobile bar service that provides mobile bar and a bunch of different things. So I shot one large video that showed everything, and then I had separate videos of each different unique piece that they provide. Now with this one, because it was just one unique piece, can anyone tell me what the gender or race of the owner was? Exactly, right? So now not only can this piece live anywhere, but the story isn't based on the person. It's based on, if you're into spirits and you haven't seen what a smoker looks like, if you're into cocktails, into fine spirits, whiskeys, bourbons, things like that, you're gonna be like, wow, what was that? I've never seen a smoker. And then the cup was spinning. That's what it's meant to be. So sometimes you will want to tell the story of, oh, look at the story and where they came from. But for a product and service like this, I wanted to take all of the people out of it. So we had the hands and we had where they were lighting it, but it wasn't showing them. And it's not because they're not attractive. It was just simply for the fact of, you want people to fall in love with a service you provide. So I just took out a factor that they could say no to. But anyone who's in spirits is going to look at that and say, oh, I want to try that. I've never seen a clove with the smoke and everything, right? So there's going to be times you're going to really have to be purposeful in the way you tell your story. And that's what I did there.